As we all know, Abyss 1 is honestly hard as hell. It's really hard to do anything in it. But I have found the most budget-friendly comp to get decently far in it. Of course, it is still not free-to-play friendly, and if you're missing some of these heroes, there are some replacements, but realistically not many, unfortunately. But there's no ancient exclusive heroes and no ancient exclusive lords, so it's pretty cheap. And you do not need any Kigiri or Wukong awakenings. And the peak of the strategy is actually 22,000. I just can't do it because I'm not good enough. But I'll elaborate on that in a second. First of all, I want to show that I am number 29 in the world right now. Not many people have gotten a better score than me. And if we go through this, I mean A5, 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 A3, A3 Valderon. This team's really cool though, I will admit. A5 Wukong, A5 Wukong. I mean, you could go up and up. This team's pretty cool, but it has Rygar, which is, I mean, Rygar's really good for this. You could just go up and up. It's really hard to replicate this. And this strategy actually comes from Forerunners, so all credit to the people you see on the screen. As you could see, the peak of this strategy, even with these somewhat low awakenings, is that you can get to 22k. But the gear required for this is so insane, and the gear even required for 12k can be a little crazy, but at the very least is a very easy 5,000 team, and I'm gonna plug and play for you guys. Now, if you do want to learn more about the stage in general, I do recommend watching my last video. This is really just going to be a do this if you want to get a good score. Now, the team comp is kind of interesting because there's only one magic DPS, and that is Hex. Hex is the only magic damage dealer for this, but he is one of the best. He's going to completely solo the shield that comes up for magic. And then we're bringing all of the other units to try to help break the physical shield. Really, really, really important to break the second physical shield because that thing is beefy. And it is almost impossible to kill it with an A0 Wukong and Kigiri unless you bring other units. Silas, Volca, and Araka are all going to help with damage. It's going to be very, very cool. We also have Torador in Wings of Grace, which is basically Invigoration. He's going to be there as a tank and stuff. Araka, like I said, DPS. Volca, DPS, and also for debuffs, blah, blah, blah. And then Pharisee and Aelin, if you saw my last video, they work beautifully. They will be all the support we need. And Constance is actually the best inspiration unit here because it's kind of hard to get more platforms on this team. You kind of need more ground units. And also for burst damage, Constance is the best option. So with that out of the way, with that team showcase, whatever, let's just get into the fight. So I told you guys that I got this strategy from Forerunner. This was one of the coolest strats on Forerunner. I was very impressed when I saw it, and I spent the last couple hours trying to figure out the placements. The placements were hard, and this probably isn't even the placements that they used, but it is what worked for me, and it's what will somewhat work for you guys too. It's a little complicated, but let me try to break it down. First of all, with Araka, this person right here, she's actually better than Yovar because she strengthens Silas and Hex a little more, at least to my knowledge. So Araka has a thing where the further away you are from the target, the more damage you do. So Silas and Hex were trying to figure out the tiles that are furthest away from the boss. And obviously these bottom tiles are. But I couldn't figure out a reliable way to realistically get multiple units on the bottom. It really just doesn't work out. So the placements that I figured out is, first of all, Hex here on, or no, sorry, Silas I figured out was actually better on the bottom because we need to focus that physical damage a lot more. So Silas down facing up. Then we do Constance here to give him Wings of Grace. It's our better version of Invig. Then I'm going to be putting Hex right here, and then we're going to give him Torador's version of it. Then we're going to sell Torador for later. We're going to put down Wukong right here, put on Invig with Aelin. Then I'm going to put Kigiri here. Kigiri's built pretty tanky. And then Pharisee Invig on them. Then we're going to be doing Volca right here. And then Araka you could put here, but she doesn't get covered by Aelin. So instead I've been putting her here. She's not going to do that much damage anyways. Probably not the best place to place her, but it's what'll work. Now, I'm just going to kind of speed through it. I'm not really going to explain too much about what's happening here. Basically, boss is hitting us big hard, and then we are trying not to die. This is the final attack of this phase as well, so this is like a good indicator of when the shield's about to pop up. So we're going to click Silas Alt. This is very important that you click Silas Alt before the shield comes up, because Silas has kind of a start animation. And when we get to the second physical shield, every bit of damage counts. So that's like 2 hits that you're missing out on, and you kind of need that to break this. So this shield, obviously, we don't actually need anything too crazy, because we're just going to kill it pretty easily, do as much damage as we can after. Usually I end up with about 5,000 here. This is actually a very below average run, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Also, we're going to click Hex Alt immediately, purely because my Hex is A3 and above. Oh, let me click Pharisee there. If your Hex is not A3 or above, you will wait to click your Hex Alt. Just be patient. Trust me. It's just going to purely depend on your account. Also, we're weaving in Pharisee and Aelin ults in and out. And also when this thing comes out, we're going to click Kigiri's ult just to keep him alive a little bit better. As soon as that is over, we're going to get the boss going. So I'm actually going to click these ults. Now, this is going to purely depend on a little bit of A1 RNG if you have it, or just your timings. Basically, Hex does 4 basic shots, and then he does a really strong bow shot. If you manage to get the bow shot charging and about to shoot, right as the shield is about to come up, so Hex immediately hits the shield, you're going to be golden. He's going to break the shield, no problem. But if you have him do a bunch of basic attacks, here we got the more lucky thing, where he's already kind of charging it as the shield comes up. If you have him doing basic attacks, it's not going to do as much damage, and you might not even break the shield. So it's going to just purely depend on those 2 things. Hopefully we can get Hex to do a big hit here, save the day. Yes, he does. And we're A-okay for the rest of the fight. Araka has her exclusive as well, so that's why I've been spamming her ult. And as soon as the boss changes, we're able to click our physical ults and do as much damage as we can. Now here we're going to get hit. I'm going to click Pharisee ult just to keep everyone alive. I'm going to try to wait a little bit through the storm surge. Hope that we can somewhat survive. Wukong A1 saved the day on Pharisee. You could just build your Pharisee a little more tanky than mine, and you should be more than okay. We're going to get Drake's Bellow, which we're going to deal with Aelin ult, because Aelin is a great healer. Make sure you build your healers well. Just keep that in mind. And then the final hit is going to come out. We're going to wait for it to hit us once. And then I guess I will click Silas ult just so it is ready. We're going to click Volca. We're going to click Constance. We're going to click Torador. And then we're going to click these 2 and try to do as much damage as possible. This is going to be very stressful. If you do not break this shield, you lose. But if you break the shield, see that we're at 9,700. It's going to be really close, by the way. There we go. We killed him. I've had it be less close, and I've had it be more close. I'm not really sure what the variation is, but it can be very close. You really have to try to put your all into killing this. But the second you kill the shield, you're going to get an influx of blood, and you're going to get to 12k. This is the second chest. This chest is really freaking hard to get. It is really hard. But now that that is over, we're actually going to use Hex as soon as possible. If your Hex is not A3, you do not need to do this. But I can guarantee you there is no world where you break the next shield. The guy on Forerunner that got 22k somehow beat the shield with only Hex. I do not know how that is possible whatsoever. I don't know. But for us, we only needed that second shield, or that second, you know, whatever it was. Doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna keep it going as much as we can. Volca dies, unfortunately, which is going to lower the amount of damage that Hex can do. But at the end of the day, we were gonna lose anyways. So we're just trying to get as much damage as possible. The meteors are gonna do a ton. And then right there, we're at about 14k. If you lose earlier, it's okay. You just need to break that shield. There we go. That is the stage, and now I can exit out because I don't want to use an attempt. I didn't get a new high score or anything. My high score is like 14.8. But basically, if you could somehow get your Hex to kill that shield, I do not know how, you will get that 22k later on, I'm pretty sure. But here's the damage numbers. Sometimes Silas is better than Wukong. Sometimes Wukong is better than Silas. And then Kigiri should be doing Wukong level damage. I don't know why my Kigiri is so weak. I don't know. He used to do Silas, you know, Wukong level damage, but he isn't anymore. So I would definitely be getting a lot more blood and have a lot easier of a time. But I'm not sure why that is. So just keep that in mind. Araka, you could definitely make stronger if she's in Constance range. I just wanted to keep her alive a little bit. Volca doing some decent damage. And Torador's just there for tanking. Hex is obviously the star of the show. He's the only magic DPS. I am shocked that he works so well for this. I know that this is like the most budget team you can make, but it's still close as hell, and it's still really hard, and it's still not that budget. But trust me when I say this is like the easiest team you could make to get more than the first chest. And even if your gear is a little bad or just not as well developed, your artifacts maybe aren't there, your awakenings aren't there, you could still make this work for 5k pretty damn easily. You don't even need to break the second shield, you'll just get it. So there we go. That's the thing I want to show you guys. I think it's pretty freaking sick, and it'll save you a lot of pain. Currently only 7 people have reached the third chest, and I know of 2 people ever, one person on Forerunner and one person who will be on the leaderboard very, very soon, who have hit 35k. 2 people have hit 35k so far, and I know of 2 other people that will pretty easily get it. Those are the people, Fibu and Nero. Nero's one of my guildmates. They will 100% get that 35k chest, either like today or sometime this week when they have a little bit of time to run it. I promise you they hit it pretty easily. I expect a couple of people to hit 40k at the most. I will be shocked if people get higher, but maybe Durza will come out and be insanely good. Who knows? Now, gear before I sign off for the night and actually go to sleep. Here, you can actually focus more on offense than defense. You don't actually need to build your units with that much HP. Which is kind of interesting. Silas, I think, is actually better. I think he performed better with 2 attack mains. So I probably should have gone with something like this. I think he performed better like this. This boss needs more attack mains than Guild Boss 2. But certain units, you want to have 1 crit damage main. So Silas and then Kigiri and Wukong, I found, were pretty good with some crit damage mains. I don't really know. But Silas works best with Infernal Roar. If you could do the exclusive, if it's like 22 or something, is better than Spirit Siphon, but I don't have that, of course. Hex is in pretty much my best gear, kind of. You want to have a balance of crit damage and attack. I found that 3 attacks actually worked best for him. If you can get more pieces that look like this and have higher rolls, you are going to have a much easier time. Obviously, max exclusive. Araka is in DPS gear. I just put her in the leftover DPS gear that I had. I put her her artifact on. I don't know if that was best. Aelin, you want to have lots of attack speed, as much attack as you can. If you can have more, that is ideal. And then I put her exclusive. I think it would be smart to put something like this on. Maybe a Tyrion's Balm or a Blight Root. Anything else would be pretty decent. Pharisee, you want to build as tanky as you can, ideally with some good healing stats. I went to the next level by trying to focus his attack speed, attack, and healing effect. He was a lot worse before. Euphoric Orb because he covers everyone. Torador is in Wings of Grace, like I said. This is a pretty good set. You don't need it to be this good because he can afford a death just fine. And he's only really going to die to one thing. Next, Kigiri. Try to build with one crit damage main. I probably should have done that. I know this piece is crazy, but honestly, it did not help. It actually lowered his damage by me putting it on. Exclusive right there. If you can get it higher, you'll do more damage. Same thing with Wukong. I only had the base. And then I built him like this. This worked pretty damn well, actually. And even if your gear isn't as good, you'll still effortlessly hit the 5k. Here's Volka's gear. Exclusive artifacts best because you put that damage reduction on the boss easier. And then Constance is in Wings of Grace with attack main, attack sub, right? I put Astral Obelisk. I think, and I'm thinking right now that I made a mistake. You want to put Keen Wisdom on to increase the amount of boosting she does. Her HP does not need to be higher because she will live. But yeah, that's the team. So I hope this helps some of you guys who learn a little bit better, not by being taught how the boss works and then going from there, but from people who just want to, you know, plug in a team, play with it a little bit there, and kind of have it told. That's what this video is for. So I hope this helped you guys. You know, I've been up for a while, so make sure to like and subscribe if you would like. These videos take more work on the back end of just figuring out the strategies. So I've been here for, I mean, since reset, which is like 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, just doing Abyss 1 stuff, just trying to figure it out in general. So I would really appreciate it, but it's up to you at the end of the day. No hard feelings. Anyways, that's it for me. I've been yapping too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. And Destined signing out.